Hi guys, Wendy here with Artfully Created. Today I wanted to demonstrate making this card. And this is using the in colors, the 2013 to 2015 in colors, and using the Butterfly Basics stamp set and the Butterfly Thinlit dies. This is the best stamp set and die set. See a little butterfly right there. And so the first thing we did, we embossed the Coastal Cabana, and I cut it down to the 5.5 by 4.25. We just make the sandwich, and I'm using the magnetic platform. You have a bottom layer, and then you put the bottom layer, the embossing folder, and then the tops sandwich. And then you just roll that through your big shot. Well, actually, you know what? With mine, I forgot. Mine is really thick, so I have to put this little squishy pad on the bottom layer. So for me, I can't use this bottom cutting mat. It doesn't work in my machine, so then you just roll it through. And you've got this lovely embossed piece of paper. Now you can, one side is debossed and one side will have the raised dots. So I like to use the raised on this card. And then I take some Whisper White cardstock and I cut it to, I'm taking it from a 12 by 12, and sometimes I can't quite get my cards properly cut, but this is 8.5 by 5.5, and then you'll just fold in half. And take a bone folder and just crease it, and then that piece should sit right on top of there. And then let's cut the little butterfly thinlit, and I just take a scrap piece of strawberry slush, and I use wax paper because this is such an intricate die. You'll want to use wax paper so you can get it out of your die. And in this I use the bottom cutting plate, put the card stock on with the wax paper, and then the little grooves here, this you want to put facing down closest to the wax paper. And then you'll layer your top plate and run it through the big shot. And I run it through twice. I just go backwards just so I make sure that it cuts. And if all works out, this should just lift up. And see, that didn't cut all the way. So let's see if we can do this again. And this is the problem I'm having with my particular machine, because my big shot was, I got it through the jewelry vintage when I was doing jewelry, and I'm not too happy with how this works to make the cards. But that's just my machine. So you just run it through again, and see all those little things in there. So I just take my little pokey tool and just start punching them out. And then you'll get the wax paper, and I just lift the wax paper up. And sometimes that's easier said than done. And I just peel it back. And you could save this if you do mixed media art. Save this for an art journal or another card. Then here you have the perfect die. Isn't that gorgeous? And then at a later time you can poke out all those little pieces. And then we're going to cut out a little tag with our tag punch. So you have this nice little tag, and we are going to stamp that in baked brown sugar. And I like to use a little foam mat on these clear dies, just because there's no cushion, so you want to have a little cushion. And I've got my stamps all on the blocks. And with this, you want to make sure ink doesn't get over here or that you rock. You want to go straight down and straight up to get a clear impression. And see, I got a little bit that didn't stamp all the way. And that could be because I'm using two different stamps on one acrylic block. Okay. And there you go. Good enough for me. And then another thing I was doing, I made my own kind of borders using the stamps, the texture of the stamps. So one, and this was just with the scrap cardstock from cutting the card. So I took the butterfly and just made a little textural background, and then with the crisp cantaloupe with the honeycomb stamp. So that I just ink really well, and then I just, you know, randomly stamp onto this white little piece of cardstock. And I'm just going for different textures, not looking for it to be perfect. You know, I have white space, and if you don't like that much white space, you can go back and fill that in, like so. So then you've made your own little border, and I guess in a sense it's almost like washi tape too. Okay, and then we do the crisp cantaloupe, and then I'm doing it with this little honeycomb texture. And this I'm just, you want to make sure you don't get this other stamp. You can take that off. And this I just went straight across. Pretty cool, huh? So save all your scraps, because you never know when you need just a thin piece of paper, and then you can make your own designer paper. Okay, so we've got the card blank, and then the one we embossed. And I like to stick this down with the multi-purpose Tombow because you have a little bit of wiggle room to move it before it sets in. And I am somewhat of a messy gluer. No matter how careful I tend to be, I usually get glue everywhere. And then I got sticky fingers, and then, so I'm not the neatest crafter, but I'm sure you'll be a lot neater when you're got more time. So there, we got that. And then I glued these down, and I left about an inch, maybe a 3/4 inch space down at the bottom here. So I situated it about there. And I don't put a whole lot of glue on because I don't want it to squish on out. And if you do get more glue on than you intended, just rub it off with the next thing you're trying to glue down. Okay, and you glue that one. That one just right on top of that. And then this little butterfly is probably the most challenging because I want his wings to be up like he's flying. I just put a thin piece of, the glue right in the middle of his body, and I kind of fold his wings upwards. And if you're sending this as a card, it will get mushed down a little bit. And I don't want his wings to be folded, so I center it on the card so that when you do mail it, it's not sticking over the edge. But his wings are up, so it gives the effect that he's flying. And then this little tag, because there's enough room under his wings, I situate it a little bit under his wings. Just like that. And then for the final touch, to add a little bling, I use some of the basic jewels, and I'm taking, it's like a full length strip, and so you can just cut those depending how many sparkle jewels you want. Just cut them, or you can use the large ones. And maybe I'll use a large one for his upper body. And then you see all different ways how people are getting these little jewels. I don't have tweezers, so I just use my fingers. And it's a little tedious, but just be patient. And then don't press them down fully until you've got it where you want it to go. Okay, there we go. And there we have the jewels. And if you wanted the jewels to go the full length of his body, then you can just add that many jewels. And anything that overhangs, you can cut off when the card is dry, because I've got maybe like a 1/16 of an inch that's hanging over. So you can cut that off, trim any sides. And if you wanted to decorate the inside of the card, you can do that on another piece of blank cardstock. I've even seen some demonstrators, you know, demo using another piece of fancy card that's been embossed, where you can add another flower, but I don't know that I really like that. I do like, you know, having another element, and so you could clean off your stamp and then stamp the butterfly inside, just so there's another surprise for the recipient. And that adds a nice little touch inside the card as well. And if you wanted to add another greeting, you could, or you can just leave it just like that. I think this is one of the most gorgeous cards. Wouldn't you love to receive that? And actually, if you leave me a comment, I can mail you this card. It will be my first official giveaway. And I will use one of those random number generators, and I will let you know and send you an email through YouTube, and if you win, you know, I will mail you this card if you want to share that address with me. So I appreciate you watching. I would love for you to sign up to see more videos. Give me a thumbs up if you like this demonstration, and I do appreciate you following me. And if you want to shop, you can shop at artfullycreated.stampitup.net. And if you're not currently working with a demonstrator, I would love to earn your business, and I will offer you a free catalog. And we're still in celebration, so every $50 purchase you get a free item from our celebrations. So thanks very much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.